Thank you, Don, and I'm sorry for fucking up your introduction.
No problem.
But I know why I fucked it up, because you're from Martins Ferry, and I asked you where you were from, and you said you were from Mayfield Heights.
That'll do it every time.
And it's hard to understand that kind of thing until you have to meet the police squad on the Carnegie Bridge, what we call the Hope Memorial Bridge now, because it's so fucking nice. Those assholes. Check your papers. It was about give it up for Donna and Owen. Come on. So how many of you here have worked at Sears before?
Define work.
The Sears and Roebuck giving you money for doing stuff in their building.
It's not the same as just taking money and not doing anything.
Or taking product and not doing anything is called
Whatever.
shoplifting.
It's, it depends on your fence, but that's.
That's your fence?
Did I say that out loud?
I remember the Sears in Elyria, but before I get into that, there's a root that digs very deeply at the bottom of a large tree in these woods, a large tree that is covered in the lichen of local history and spiritual politics, deep in the rivers, Rust Belt, Steubenville, cities with names of trucks and boats and the men who own those boats.
Yeah.
And factions and fractions. But there are no cities named one quarter, except for the French Quarter, but we won't talk about that. But at the bottom of this tree, at the base of this tree, where this root grows, where it climbs up and gently wraps itself around that base. We have a poetry sign-up sheet up here. We're at number 5. If you want to be number 6, get your fucking thing out here and write it down, man. But at the base of this tree, and this tree grows in a forest. In a forest, it's a rainforest. Some say it's the most biologically diverse environment in the United States. Some say that's just bullshit marketing put together by the Cleveland Convention and Visitors Bureau. Some people say that Kent and the Cuyahoga Valley are a rich, diverse microcosm of a microcosm's macrocosm.
Who said that?
I'm not going to say his name
I'll find him.
because I'm too drunk, actually, and I don't want to make an ass out of myself like I did when I misannounced the first grader. Which, by the way, Steve, I'm trying to do now, so pay attention. No, I don't want none of your pity. But at this base of this tree and this root that grows upwards and around, it's a green root, a green vine that grows, and this vine grows upwards, pushing through bark and lichen and moss and water bear. It pushes up somewhere and finds itself alight in a lighted spot of a wood in Ohio that struggles to leave the east side for the west side and gain itself some independence so it can show those motherfuckers what for. This root that grows knows nothing but the moment and what it is going to find. And in that moment that it's going to find, it finds us. sitting, standing here in this place looking for something. I don't know what you're looking for. I'm looking for beer. Sometimes I'm looking for somebody to talk to, sometimes I'm looking for somebody to, put their hands on me. Sometimes I'm hoping for things. Sometimes I'm making phone calls erratically on my cell phone, hoping to run across some kind of voicemail message that's going to remind me of somebody. And that somebody that it's going to remind me of is somewhat like our next reader. But not quite, because that somebody cannot drink as much as our next reader can drink. And in that, I would say that when we were sitting out on the back porch, out on the patio, smoking cigarettes and pipes of tobacco, and enjoying the stars in the sky and naming the Milky Way, the constellations as they passed over our heads in the night sky, like Galileo may have seen them, like Magellan may have imagined them sometime in the past, when he didn't know what Cleveland was, he didn't know what the Literary Cafe was. These periods of time that we remember this is when Don Anon and I were looking up into the sky and saying, those stars are bullshit. I could write those stars.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, I could write those. I could write those stars. You could write those stars. Meteors, shooting stars, making wishes, these are all stupid things. Stupid things until you consider what all of the celestial bodies, one piece of thinly sliced raw meat contains. And in that one thinly sliced piece of raw meat, and in that Cleveland Valley, and in that fart-smelling sulfur, yellow billow, cloud, steam, flame from a stack of Cleveland, that's what you're looking at. And you're looking at something of yourselves, but something also in streets and asphalt and crushed glass from a car that was broken into just to get a CD of a terrible album by Night Ranger.
Was that you?
No, but that's what they're looking for, because you can sell anything for anything. But you can't sell anything for our next reader. And ladies and gentlemen,
These slides, right? Just smooth.
let me thank you for coming up to the Literary Cafe tonight. This is a huge crowd, a very attentive crowd. So Michael, you got your work cut out for you. He was a lifeguard once at Cascade Park in Elyria, Ohio. He rescued many people and dogs and rats and cats and snakes that fell into that large pool, never going into the deep end for the ice cream cones that fell somehow and whirled their way in a furious whirlpool of your own self-regret. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Michael Ceraolo! I don't know your last name because I'm fucking this night up! Thank you for